Well, this happened many months after the initial plan, of course, but as you can see, the workbench for the basement has finally been completed, and I am really, really happy. How did it come out? I'm going to say almost perfect. I'll explain to you exactly what the good details are first. So let's head over to it. So yeah, we've had this wood here now for quite a while, and my brother and I had a plan to help each other and put it together. Now it got done a lot later than I wanted it to because we just had a lot of other stuff to take care of in the interim, and other priorities. But excuse me. But throughout this week and today, being Saturday, he and I were finally able to get it all finished, and I really, really like how it looks. The initial plan I had thought was to maybe have a support on the side and one right in the middle. But then I thought about how long this workbench is, and it's about approximately 93 inches long. So, when I saw that, I was like, oh, I don't know. I think it might be better if I do two supports in the middle instead of one, just for better, support along the entire thing, and also kind of like I did the shelves in the cabana, no possibly bowing areas from a lot of weight. And I think this is very, very solidly built. And let me explain to you how the lower shelf is as well. So the lower shelf has these beams of wood right here, okay? And also we doubled the support on the sides, or no, let me say it again, the front and the back. So you can see here that this lower shelf has support all along the front, the back, the beams on the side, and kind of like this, let me do that again. Oh, excuse me. Kind of like this section of the workbench here. This lower shelf has a beam along here and along there as well. So you get 4 beams, good solid support all across the whole thing. And you can actually see how it looks from here. Now, on the for the top piece, we have this piece of plywood here, but we also have these. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 beams also below it for extra support, because this wood's a lot stronger than this board here, and that gives it extra support. And you can see we did the same thing here. It has good support throughout. The spaces between these beams, these beams here, are roughly about 25 and 5/8 of an inch. So that gives it, again, good support all around, all across the whole thing. And really, I mean, this thing could probably take a ton of weight. I'm sure it's never going to be anywhere near capacity, but just having that good, solid feeling of a workbench is fantastic. And again, the same thing here. 4 beams holding up the lower shelf, and this piece of plywood, though, doesn't have these beams up here, but this shelf is never going to have as much weight as this could possibly have up here. So, and even with the beams going across it like that, I think it's going to be very solid, a very good solid finish. Now, here's the part that kind of makes things less than perfect, and this tends to happen with wood that you could buy from a store. Go over here. Yeah, you can kind of see how a couple of the beams have like a little bit of an angle to it. Okay, now the reason why that happened is because my brother and I tried really hard to find, straight pieces of wood, wood you can get from, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. And, the wood that sits there, either, the way it's sitting there or just how it was cut, it tends to have a little bit of warps to them. Now, you can kind of get around that by really holding it down, anchoring it down, which we did for a lot of these pieces, and it did come out really good. But, just some of the pieces of wood, you can only do so much, and, we measured everything. We made sure everything was as equal as possible. All the measurements came together, and just, the way the wood was, some of these angles kind of happened. But this was kind of not flat before the bottom, but we were able to fasten things down, put it all together, and that part worked out good. But yeah, you can see right here just how the left beam kind of has an angle to it. You know what I'm saying? This one right here. And, excuse me. Now, of course, I just learned recently that they do actually have, like, more expensive pieces of wood that are officially dried out before they cut them, so they don't, have that warping. But, they do cost a little bit more than these, obviously, and I'll disclose it to you. Everything with this workbench, the pieces of wood, the screws, everything, came out to about roughly $170. So like, if I had which isn't, terrible, but, if I had the more expensive wood, that would add up significantly more with the multiple beams that we have to get. So in all seriousness, though, I'm really, really glad how this came out. I love it, and I got to give a huge thanks to my brother, especially for taking the time to help me with this. But yeah, and you do notice that there are some wood shims. You can see there's some wood shims over here, and some in this corner over here. Let me focus over there that you can see. But that was unavoidable. I actually got those wood shims right at the beginning because, when you have a basement slab, especially if you're going to leave the basement unfinished, it's especially along the near the foundation walls. There's a good chance that it may not be the most level thing. So I got those wood shims in advance to be prepared for that. And honestly, it came out just fine. Like, I'll go over here to the bench itself and just, like shake it. You can see it's not really wobbling or anything, like on the floor. I'll do this side as well. See, and same thing here. Yep, so it's staying firmly, which is fantastic. And these outlets, if you remember, these got installed. Oh, good Lord! I think these outlets got installed back in 2017, so they've been here for a while. But amazingly, they fit perfectly on each side. Like, this one goes to the end here, this one goes to the end there, and I really, really like how it came out. Now, I know sometimes people may want to, like, kind of put the outlets in the middle, but I kind of thought, maybe put them to the side because, if you're in here in the corner, I'm sure you got plenty of room to put like a tool here or something, or a tool there, And I figured the wires would be less in the way if the outlets were more towards the ends of the workbench instead of towards the middle. And plus, like, if, like, let's say I want to put the heater up here, and just use it, for a source of heat, obviously. I could just plug it right in there and the wire really won't be in the way or anything. So I'm kind of glad that these outlets are on the ends like that. And really, if I plug in this work zone thing, I'll have extra outlets if I need them. I don't think I ever will, but, who knows? And also, that wire can be kept over there as well. And actually, in terms of leveling, if you can see, that's just about in the middle. So honestly, even with all the, a couple of the warped woods, but, we did all the measurements, did all the shims, this thing came out fantastic. It feels really solid, and I love it. One of the, excuse me. Okay, one of the things I also did get was, you may remember this from some videos ago, this rubber mat from Costco, and this thing is fantastic. Like, you can, instead of standing on the hard slab, you can stand on here. It's good cushioning for your feet, and, because I go down here barefoot a lot, because, like, I live here, so who cares? It's nice, good cushioning, everything, and it's really fantastic. So we do plan at some point to get a pegboard up across here. I mentioned that a number of videos ago. I cannot remember which video it was, but, that'd be good. We'll probably put a section like, here, and on the side there. And, I did stress to the guy back when, like, don't board over the conduits, keep them exposed like that, because, like, I like that. And plus, if they can get white pegboard, that'd be nice, because it kind of reflect, some of the light back towards you. Yeah, so now, just really fantastic, and again, I really got to thank my brother for, taking the time to help me with this. He really was a big help with this, because a couple of my measurements were actually off, but thankfully, before we put everything together, he looked at it and he was like, oh, wait, no, this should be that, and I was like, oh, you're right, I forgot to take into account that piece of wood there. So, again, like I said, he was a huge help with this. Again, I cannot thank him enough. And of course, one of the benefits of having this workbench is I can pretty soon start to work on this. And many of you, understandably so, have been starting to ask about this now. Yes, remember the inline turn signal? I can finally start to get to it and see what I want to do with it to kind of start. Now, I just want to tell you guys, with this inline turn signal, I do plan to. I'll make some videos here and there when I work on it, but my initial plan. No, let me say it again. What's the word? My overall plan for this light is to, put it back together, but also repaint it. Compared to the light that's in my room, I would like to repaint this light because, you can see cosmetically it's taking a much harder beating than the one that I have in my room right now. And, like, that kind of work doesn't happen overnight. So, I know for those of you who like my traffic light stuff, I know you've waited a long time for this kind of thing, and, like, I'm sorry that I can't do it quickly for you, but, at some point when I start working on this light, cleaning up whatever, I will get some videos on this for you, because I'm sure many of you have been waiting for me to work on this, and I've been waiting to work on it for myself as well. Really, really going to be great to get to this and everything. So, all right. So anyway, guys, there you go. The basement workbench is finally installed. It came out great, nice and solid, nice solid construction. My brother was a big help, and I'm very happy to have it here. And definitely cannot wait to start working on stuff on it. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.